guys, it's Brandon Smiley from thirstgym.com. Today we're talking about an exercise called the Barbell Hip Thrust. This is a fantastic glute hamstring exercise that's targeted at building size and hypertrophy. This variation I'm going to show you is very similar to the glute bridge. We're just going to have our back elevated, okay? So I've got this special piece of equipment here from Elite FTS that is a sissy squat that duals as a hip thrust apparatus. So this piece moves up and down, which is going to make this very convenient when we perform this exercise. But you can use a regular utility bench, box squat box, anything you can get your back up on is going to be good. Now the terminology I know gets confused a lot. I usually just try to think of a hip thrust with the barbell with our back elevated, and it's a glute bridge when you're on the ground. Doesn't really matter. You can call it a back elevated glute bridge. It's all the same stuff. But this way gives us more range of motion, which is going to make the exercise more difficult. So one of the problems we run into with the regular glute bridge and the barbell-based version is our butt hits the ground and we basically get a bunch of top-end range of motion. This is going to let us get a bigger range of motion, a little bit more time under tension. It's going to make it a little more challenging, and then you can obviously see improved glute and hamstring strength and size if that's what you're looking for. So I know this is also a very popular exercise with females, and we're going to talk about how you can maximize this. So my first recommendation is to not use the band around your knees. I know some people say, hey, you're going to get more glute activation. It doesn't really matter. We don't want to try to drive external rotation. We want to try to make sure we stay everything good and neutral. And with our pelvis posteriorly tilted and neutral, we'll get a better glute contraction naturally if you just do it correctly. You know, when you're trying to load the weights up, then you're going to jam yourself into hyperextension or excessive extension, and then by putting the band on there, you're going to drive even more extension, and that's when we start to have issues in the long term. So for health reasons, if you really want to make this harder, actually put something between your legs like a block or a small ball or a foam roller or something like that, and that's actually going to make the exercise more challenging. I promise you'll use less weight that way than you will with the band around your knees. So now I've got that out of the way, let's talk about the execution. So I've got a shoulder saver here on my bar from Elite FTS. They make special pads and things that you can use these for hip thrusts and glute bridges. That's what I have. Definitely recommend that. You can use an AirX pad, half cut and foam roller, something like that to protect your waist. It definitely feels better. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get in position. So like I said, my bench here moves. So I'm going to sit down here on the bottom metal thing. I'm going to roll this up to my hips. Okay, got my back here. I'm gonna bring my feet up into like a sit-up position. Okay, so as you can see, I'm already in a pretty good position here. And then what we're gonna do is as I hold this, I'm gonna drive my hips towards the ceiling, keep my whole foot contact as I do it, keep my hands here so it doesn't roll away from me. And then I'm gonna drive my body back, and this bench is actually gonna roll with me here. So here we go, up, back down. So I'm going to keep my head relatively neutral. We don't want to be like this. Okay, keep your head, chin down, feet flat, meet the barbell. Try to keep all this down. Again, I don't want to arch through my low back. I want to try to make sure I can squeeze my butt, keep everything tilted, down, good hold at the top. One more, and then down. Like I'm down in the position, and I'm good to go. So as you can see, it's kind of a pain in the butt to set up, depending upon what you have access to. I really like this. I do think it is definitely way more fluid. Once you get in position, you might need blocks or something like that to try to help you get underneath it, or a different kind of pad. But usually, if you want to do some strength-based work, 8 to 12 repetitions is awesome. I do not recommend going really heavier than that. I just think the amount of weight that you're going to load up and get after with, like, use that for your deadlifts. Use this as more like a secondary based exercise. So 8 to 12 is really good if you want to go on the heavier end. If you're really trying to focus on just burning things out, finish a good workout strong, I think then you're starting to look 12 to 15 reps. I personally wouldn't do this exercise for 20. I just don't think it's really worth it. I think there's other exercises that would be more beneficial at rep ranges that high and are way easier to set up as well. So usually, yeah, 3-4 sets of usually 8 to 12 repetitions, maybe 15 if you're feeling froggy. And then some way to set it up. If you can get one of access on these, awesome. If not, a regular utility bench works just as well. So if you got any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comment section. Thanks. Have a great day.